The East is a delicate matter. There, honor sometimes costs more than life. She thought she had begun a new life, but one day, 3 men stopped in front of her house, and one of them was holding a pistol. In a small village in the East lived a girl named Fatima. The village was old, surrounded by hills and dusty roads. The people there lived simply and strictly followed their traditions. Fatima's family was considered respected. Her father was a strict but fair man, and his word carried great weight in the village. Fatima had 2 older brothers, strong men who were used to protecting their family. Fatima herself was an extraordinarily beautiful girl. Dark eyes, a calm gaze, and a dignity rare for someone her age. She attended school and read a great deal, trying to learn more about the world beyond her village. In those years, there was an American military base in that country. One day, a young officer of the United States Air Force, Lieutenant David Harper, came to the school on official business. Walking down the corridor, he happened to glance into one of the classrooms, and it was there that he saw her for the first time. He stopped for only a few seconds, but those seconds were enough for him to remember her face. Later, he saw her again, this time in the square by the old fountain where the villagers came to collect water. She was calmly speaking with the women and did not even look in his direction. At that moment, the young officer realized that he wanted to see this girl again. Very little time passed, and fate brought them together again. That day, Lieutenant David Harper deliberately stayed near the school after classes had ended. When the lessons were over, the students began to come out into the yard. Among them was Fatima. He took a few steps toward her and spoke to her for the first time. At first, the words were very simple, a careful greeting and a few awkward phrases. Fatima listened calmly. She did not turn away and did not leave, although she could have. They spoke only for a short time. Then Fatima started walking down the road toward the village. Harper did not walk beside her openly. He simply stayed a little behind, as if he were casually heading in the same direction. That was how their story began. At first, there were only rare meetings and short conversations. A few words, cautious smiles, attempts to understand one another. But gradually, a feeling appeared between them, something impossible to hide, even from themselves. The feeling that people in every time have called by one simple word: love. Meanwhile, Fatima's family had already begun to speak about her future. In such families, a daughter's fate was rarely her own choice. When a girl became an adult, the elders began discussing her marriage. Fatima's family was respected, and her father held great authority in the region. Because of this, proposals had appeared more than once. At first, it seemed that her future was already decided, a marriage with a young man from a nearby town, someone close to her in age and from a good family. But one day, everything changed. 2 unexpected guests arrived at Fatima's house. They were brothers. The elder was Abdullah Hassan, a wealthy man and an imam in a nearby town. With him came his younger brother, Karim Hassan. They had come with one purpose: to ask for Fatima's hand in marriage. The difference in age was enormous, but for her family, the question looked different. A union with Abdullah Hassan meant honor, wealth, and a stronger position for the family. After several days of discussions, Fatima's father made his decision. He gave his consent. The wedding happened quickly. After the family gave their consent, preparations began almost at once. Within a few days, guests gathered in the yard of Fatima's house. Music filled the village from early morning. Relatives and neighbors arrived, tables were set, and the house filled with voices. A rich dowry had been prepared for the young bride: fabrics, jewelry, and new clothes. From the outside, everything looked like a celebration. but in the center of it stood a girl who barely spoke. Fatima remained silent. When the time came, she was led out of the house and placed on a decorated carriage. The carriage slowly moved down the dusty road, carrying her farther from the home where she had grown up. And so her former life ended. Late in the evening, the celebration slowly faded. The guests left, the music fell silent, and the house of the new husband sank into quiet. The first wedding night had come. On that night, only one thing was expected from the young bride: obedience and acceptance of her new fate. But that night, Fatima made a step that very few people dare to take. A step that could cost her life. And not only hers. In places like that, such a decision could bring disaster upon the entire family. The parents, the brothers, everyone connected to her name. But Fatima did it anyway. That night she crossed a line after which there is no road back. And from that moment on, for some she became a murderer. And for others, a cursed daughter, a cursed bride. A woman whose name was better never spoken aloud again. Meanwhile, the man who had once changed Fatima's fate was living in a completely different world. Lieutenant David Harper was an officer in the United States Air Force. He was about 25 years old, only a few years older than Fatima, yet his life had already passed through many hardships. David had lost his parents early. He barely remembered them. He was raised by his grandmother, a quiet, elderly woman who became the only close person in his life. She lived a long life and kept simple but firm rules in her home: respect for others, honesty, and responsibility for one's own actions. David was her only grandson. As a child, he grew up calm and attentive. He loved machines, mechanisms, everything connected with engines and airplanes. Over time, that interest became the work of his life. After his studies, he joined the Air Force. There, his abilities were quickly noticed. David proved to be a strong specialist in aviation mechanics and a confident pilot. He was not a man of loud words or showy bravery, but he possessed a rare reliability. Those who served beside him said something simple about him: he was a man you could rely on. When the order came to serve overseas, he accepted it without questions. That is how David Harper found himself in a distant eastern country. And it was there that he once met a girl who would change his life. One night, something happened that he could never have expected. It was well past midnight. The base was quiet. The occasional footsteps of guards, the distant hum of machinery, and the dim lights along the runway. Lieutenant Harper was already asleep in his small officer's quarters when someone knocked on the door. At first quietly, then more insistently. He was woken and told that a girl was asking for him at the gate. He stepped outside, barely awake, still not understanding what was happening, and he could not have imagined who he would see at the gate. It was Fatima. She stood by the base fence, exhausted, covered with road dust, her eyes dark with fatigue. She had walked many kilometers alone through the night to reach the only person she believed she could trust. Fatima said only what was necessary. She told him what had happened that night, that she had escaped, and that she had nowhere left to return. Lieutenant Harper listened to her in silence, and despite everything he had just heard, he did not feel fear. Instead, he felt a strange sense of relief. He was happy to see her again, happy that in the middle of the night, after walking through darkness and danger, she had come to him. For him, it meant only one thing. She trusted him more than anyone else in the world, and he understood that now he was responsible for her fate. That same night, he hid Fatima on the base. Several soldiers he trusted helped conceal her in the cargo compartment of a military aircraft. It was risky, but fate seemed to open a path for them. A few days later, the unit in which Harper served was scheduled to return to the United States. And when that day finally came, Fatima was already on board the aircraft. That was how her journey into a new life began. America greeted Fatima with a completely different world, a different language, different people, a different life. At first, it was not easy for her. She spoke English with a strong accent, sometimes mixed up words, and even laughed at her own mistakes. But very soon the neighbors noticed something simple and rare in her: kindness. Fatima became friends with the people around her. She treated neighbors with food and brought sweets to the children who played in the yard. She became a good wife to David and a caring mother to their son. In the neighborhood, she was known as a quiet, kind woman whom everyone liked. And almost no one knew what kind of past she had left behind her. But far away in the east, this story had not been forgotten. The morning after the wedding, the body of the old imam was found in his house. He lay on the floor of his room, a dagger still buried in his chest. Fatima had disappeared that same night. Very quickly, one thought spread through the village. The young wife had killed her husband and fled. In those places, this meant more than the death of a man. It meant an insult to the honor of the family. And in the East, honor is sometimes valued more than life. The imam's brother gathered the men of his family and made only one promise: they would find her, and they would punish her. Time passed, but the brother of the slain imam did not forget the story. At first, there were only rumors. Then came the words of people who were willing to talk for money. Little by little, he began to learn more. Someone had seen the girl near an American military base. Someone else remembered an officer who had often been seen near her. That was how he first heard the name of the man people said Fatima had escaped with: Lieutenant David Harper. That was enough. The imam's brother made his decision. He began the search, and his road led across the ocean to America. New York was enormous, loud, and completely foreign. Finding one person among millions was almost impossible. So they did the only logical thing. They hired a man who knew how to find people, a private detective. Me. They said they were looking for a woman who had left their country many years ago. Her name was Fatima. Searches like that usually take months, but this time it took only a few days. And very soon, I knew where to find her. I could have simply given them the address, said, "Here is the house, here is the street." But something inside me stopped me, so I went with them. The house was small and quiet. An ordinary American home on a calm street. A peaceful life. When we approached the gate, a shadow moved in the window. The door opened. A woman stepped onto the porch. It was Fatima. A small child was in her arms. And in that moment, one thing became clear. The past never disappears. It simply comes back to your door one day. And sometimes, it holds a pistol.